Oh no, inflation is only temporary. Oh no, it's only transitory. And look at the crap that they've been selling for over a year and a half. Temporary, it's not real, it's only transitory. And then we have Janet Yellen, who back in April of 2021 said, no, this inflation isn't real. Now she's saying the recession isn't real. So if they're spewing out the same garbage, we should swallow it. Because after all, they've been totally wrong before, so they must be right now. Or else they were lying about it. Because everybody knew inflation was real. But they wanted to keep those zero interest rate policies so they could keep the equity markets going up. What did they pump in? $6.3 trillion, the government, to fight the COVID war? Oh, that's not inflationary. It's the Russians that did it. It's a freak show in front of our eyes. The whole game is rigged. Hey, the GDP declined, 0.9%? Oh, and the streets said it was going to go up 0.2%? Inflation came up 9.1% and the markets went up? I mean, come on. The market should have crashed back in 2020 when they launched the COVID war. It should have been over. The businesses have been destroyed. The damage that this COVID war has done is incalculable. Hey, let's not talk about office occupancy rates in America. They're only around 40%. Cities like in New York, 35%. Oh, all those businesses, the dry cleaners, and the shoe repair, the hairdressers, happy hours, all gone. And now I'm renting, let's say I have 8 stories of a building. My people don't want to commute an hour and a half anymore. They hated it, going an hour and a half back and forth. I'll work from home 3 days a week. Great. I'll save on rent. This is for real. Office occupancy rates in New York City, in Chicago, in San Francisco, they're in the toilet. And so are the businesses. Before this happened in 2019, there were for rent signs all over the place. Now look at it. The damage that this has done, the businesses that have been put out of business. Oh, I went out of business. Now I'm going to come back again. I'm telling you, it's incalculable. The damage that is done. We are in for the worst socioeconomic and geopolitical crisis in modern history. Tell me one brilliant thing the federal government has done in my lifetime. And I'm 75 years old. What have they ever done? They're a bunch of losers. They're freaks. I don't know how people could look up to these clowns. Look at them. As I say, GCs, 3Gs, guns, gold, and a getaway plan. But this time there'll be no getaway plan because COVID war, Ukraine war, world war. When all else fails, they take you to war. This economy's failed. It's a joke. $60 billion to Ukraine about now, since February 24th. And the roads are rotting, homeless all over the streets. People can't make ends meet. You see the data that comes out. So for me, the gold prices should be $2,500 an ounce. I'm not making this up when I say it's a crime syndicate. It's rigged. The proof is there. The two things they don't want to happen. They don't want the equity markets to crash, and they don't want gold prices to skyrocket to where they should go, because then the little people will know how bad it is. They don't know how bad it is until the markets crash. Gold prices should have been skyrocketing for the last 3 years. Because the crisis that we're facing now is unprecedented. Unprecedented. The countless trillions of dollars that they've pumped into the economies around the world. You're going to see just the new world disorder. You're looking at the emerging markets. Why is the dollar strong? The dollar's strong because all the other ones are so weak. Again, listen to the crap that's spewed out of the mouths of the central bankers. Oh, and now the European Union aggressively raised interest rates from minus 0.50 basis points to 0 interest rates. What, are you kidding me? What do they got? An 8.6% inflation rate? Oh, and the IMF I mentioned before? If you borrow money from the IMF, they tell you to raise your interest rates 1% above inflation, which means that our interest rates should be, 10.1%? Europe should be 9.6%. Oh, look at the data coming out of Germany. Oh, the biggest, richest country, down, everything down, everything down. And by the way, people complain communism. Yeah, it's dictatorial. As you know, there was a guy by the name of Mussolini. Listen to his quote. What's fascism? The merger of state and corporate powers. Got it? Oh, we're going to buy corporate bonds, junk bonds. Oh, you're just a piece of garbage. You could go to, we don't care what happens to you. Hey, you're too big to fail. It's fascism by the definition of Mussolini. Not mine, his. They're in total control. They're in total control. A story just came out this last Monday in the Wall Street Journal about a gambling deal done in North Carolina, South Carolina, and how everybody's involved in the politicians, daughters, sons, husbands, whatever, behind the scenes and making money on the deal. Again, it's a crime syndicate that people call a government. My business is to look ahead, and I see the future, and it's hell on earth. World War II is an ancient history. I own 3 of the most historic buildings in America because when I came back from Berlin, and I said, how could Berlin was grander than Paris before it was bombed out. Why didn't the people stop it? Oh, isn't Dresden a lovely place? And now they're ramping up this war. World War III has begun. It's not a proxy war. We're at war. America's sending and NATO sending these billions and billions of dollars of weapons to keep bloodying the killing field, not a peep about peace. And so what I'm saying is they're going to say World War III began when there's going to be a nuclear something or a false flag event. Just like the crap they teach us when we're kids. World War I began when they assassinated the Archduke Ferdinand in Sarajevo. What's an Archduke? What's a Sarajevo? You mean nothing was going on before that? Oh, no. Oh, and World War II began when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. All right? It's begun. You hear the hatred being spewed out every day. When I was a kid, they had us hiding under a desk in case an atom bomb went off, dropped by the Russians. It's the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about. And to illustrate the idiocy, Pelosi might go to Taiwan. They're doing air raid drills in Taiwan with people kneeling down and putting their hands over their head. You can see the pictures. And 3 weeks ago, they ran a duck and cover drill in New York City where this woman comes out and said, okay, a nuclear explosion has happened. Now, don't get excited. I'm going to tell you what to do. Here are the 3 steps. I'm not making this up. We've been going after the emergency management group over there that put this together. We put in the complaints. They refuse to tell us how much this commercial cost. They refuse to tell us we want the scientific data of the 3 steps. They won't give us anything. They're making this crap up. This town where I am is dead. It's dead at night. It was the liveliest place. People from New York City flooded up here, one place after another, going out of business. So everything is dead. They've sucked the joy out of life in so many ways. So on that level, I'm sad. And particularly, I see young people. It's a whole different world. And this is unprecedented. And like that, everything changed. In the United States, the average office occupancy rate, 32%. So what's going to happen to the commercial real estate sector? I mean, before, you were allowed to go back and forth. You remember what New York used to look like in 2019. There were 4 rent signs all over Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, down the West Village for rent. Now you see, this isn't coming back. Oh, remember when this all began back in 2020? Oh, it'll come back. It's not coming back. Yeah, the numbers are all there. You're looking, I was just reading some stuff coming out about the poverty rate going up. It's off the charts, and it just keeps getting worse. So the bigs are getting bigger. The business is dead. And now with inflation hitting, wait, I fill up my car, $88? I mean, I could afford it, but how about these people that can't? What they've done to this country, this is terrible. And if we don't have a new movement, we're going to go down hard. Yeah. And that's why you're going to see the office occupancy rate continue to go down. This is going to be the biggest real estate crisis ever documented in modern history. And again, it's the new world. Part of it makes a lot of sense. I mean, here we are. We're Zoomed together. So it's a different world now. It's a fake bounce. It's the Biden bounce. And it's the same thing around the world. They're dumping in all this cheap money, printed on nothing and backed by nothing, and artificially blowing it up. For the average person, inflation is killing them. Rents. They can't afford to buy houses. They're renting. Oh, what's happening? Again, the bigs, the Blackstones, the other ones buying up homes and renting them out. So what this is going to do, and it's done, it's made the bigs bigger and everybody else poorer. The numbers are there. The billionaires got $8 trillion richer. But here's the deal. They're lying about it. They're lying about it because, first of all, the inflation numbers are rigged. We're talking about housing prices, whether they've gone up like 18% in a year, or housing prices aren't put into the CPI. So anyway, they're making the numbers up, and they want to keep saying inflation is temporary because they are afraid they're going to scare the gamblers by raising interest rates. So now they're lying about that we're not going to raise interest rates. Inflation isn't going up because when interest rates go up, the housing market goes down. When the mortgage rates go up, when interest rates go up, the gambling game stops and this whole thing collapses. Everybody knows it. So the implications of this are going to be far-reaching. But again, when all else fails, they take you to war.